Senator Balozi Kembi Gitura, with the senator from Kiambu, from Murang'a, I should say, and also he is the Deputy Speaker of the Senate. We have also with us Senator Professor Anyang' Nyong'o from Kisumu, Dr. Shema Ochodha, who is, Shema Ochodha is a global leader of Kenya Diaspora Alliance, Farah Maalim, former Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly. I've mixed my words there, a mouthful, but we have also with us Honorable Kipruto Arap Kirwa, who is a former Minister of Agriculture and also the Deputy Leader of Amani National Congress. Let's drill deeper now into what we have from this particular. You're raising your hand, you want to say something?
Just before we leave the aspect of propaganda and post-truth, because I think what Ambassador was talking about of alarmist, I think this is an issue we need to take seriously. I remember I was reading on social media, particularly if you go social media,
yes,
where some people were saying, look, if they were discouraging people to go, not to go to to verify their registration, that if you go and you put your thumbprint, then you will already have been recorded as having voted. You know, there were all manner of propaganda circulating. But somebody wrote in the Nation, I think, yes, Sunday Nation, that, you know, you can't grow a country through propaganda. I think this is one thing that we need to, I know some coalitions are very good at propaganda and post-truth, but let's bear in mind that we can never build a country through that. That's what I wanted to say. So if when Mheshimiwa Farah says he's been in his house eating plastic rice, you know, you wonder what would be the consequences of eating plastic rice. I mean, there would have been an outcry and health problems over an unmeasurable proportions. This haven't come out. So really, before we make such serious statements, let's be sure it's concrete evidence. And why have we not provided this to KFIS, to KSB, so that people be prosecuted? Because that would be playing with Kenyans' lives. All right, briefly, as a responsible Kenya, you should have taken the rise itself.
Listen, we've done that. I'm informing him, I'm informing the rest of the team who are here, I'm informing the country that I've seen it myself. And many other Kenyans will tell you they've seen that plastic rice. Let me tell you, this reminds me of a nice story. There's this incident when a child is with his mother and his father in the same room, and the father begs wind. You know, the father farts. Then he looks at them and says, who did that? The son looks at the father. Of course, he can see his father did that, but he cannot say it's my father who did. And he can't say it's my mother who did it. So he looks around and he sees a cat. I think he said it's the cat that did that. You know what I mean? So it's the cat that blew that broke the wind. So the point is that everybody here is kind of scared to say, put the blame where the blame is. I've told you, there is a breakdown of the system here. That's why we're having what we have. Whether it's a plastic rice that's there, whether it's a shortage of maize that's there, all these problems we have right now, you can't keep on scatting them around and looking for somebody else to blame on that and talk about propaganda when people can't get the stable food in there. Stable food is not there in the markets. It's not there in the. Before it was there, but it was not affordable to most Kenyans. It was going for almost 200 shillings or 150 shillings when it's supposed to be much less than that. But right now it's just not there. So instead of saying, look, we need to do these things together, we need to close ranks as opposition and government also, because it's a crisis in itself, we say, no, this is a propaganda. Don't talk about these things. And no, we can't do that. There's a plastic rice in the market out there, in the field. Kenyans are consuming it without their knowledge. When we say that thing is there and something needs to be done, I think, it's a propaganda and you're creating a situation. No, the situation is that the stuff is there in the market.
All right, let's wind up on it. Is there in the market is still a matter of investigation?
It's a problem that needs to be dealt with, and take that emergency right now. And all of us should be sorry that that's there and should be expecting the government to take an action.
The Bible.
Okay.
I reiterate what I said earlier. As leaders, let us not make statements we cannot elaborate. We cannot, be able to stand by.
Unable
when
to
you say there is plastic rice in the market,
right?
My beginning point or my beginning opening remark on this was, there is this allegation, right? And it is time that we give time to our institutions. Let the Kenya Bureau of Standards today, not tomorrow, come up and tell us about plastic rice or no plastic rice. But I do not think anybody sitting on this table here should be talking about plastic rice. I think this is not good. I think this could very easily, in my view, end up as incitement. I think this is important. I think this is important because because like I said, plastic rice is a very serious thing.
True.
It must be a very serious, must have very, very serious consequences. So let's not stand here and tell Kenyans there is plastic rice. Let us tell Kenyans there are those allegations, and that we expect that the relevant institution is going to give us
Right.
an answer on this.
So on this,
Before
since we've
too long. I
raised
think
this
it's
particular
important.
issue, yes.
But really, I don't think it is fair to doubt the integrity of one of our panelists.
I'm not doubting the
No, no, no.
integrity.
Look,
Let
I'm willing
us
to
be-
bring you that
I've got the
bag
greatest
here,
res-
and we
I've
do
got
it
the
here.
greatest respect
No,
for
no,
Farah, and he
no,
knows it.
no, no,
I'm willing to bring
Okay.
that
I've got the
bag here.
greatest respect for Farah, and he knows it. I've just made a statement.
Let me say the following, my dear friend Kevin. I think Farah has made a statement.
Danger.
I think to cast aspersions at that statement, that is dangerous. It's also not fair. We live in a democratic society. This is not the first time I have heard about plastic rice. I have heard about plastic rice before. And something cannot be going around this country without some kind of evidence. So what I'm saying, yes, you're right, Kembi. Let the Kenya Bureau of Standards deal with this issue and come out clearly telling Kenyans what the situation is. Because if they don't, then we shall continue this kind of
Suffering.
thing. Okay.
I agree.
Having said that, that doesn't mean that we got Farah from saying what he did, because I know that Uchulu is very eager.
Indeed, because this is a serious issue,
Let me
Professor.
just finish. It is serious, but also let's not make it appear as if speaking about it you want to inflame the country tomorrow. I mean, people have been speaking about it all this time. The point is that while we are speaking about it, the relevant institutions should step in and make a clear statement to put a stop to the fears and the allegations. Full stop. The more we speak about it, the more ridiculous we seem. You see what I mean?
Professor, with due respect,
Yeah.
I think the institutions need to step in, but let's assist them. If there are some of us who have evidence that there is that plastic rice, let's provide it to those institutions, because even the shops, the shops that are stocking it need to be prosecuted. I think as leaders, we need to go further. Can we take that to KEFIS and KBS, say, this is plastic rice, so that people are prosecuted? Because if Kenyans are eating plastic rice, that's a serious problem.
Okay.
We should be playing
And there is a
about it.
difference between unscrupulous business people and the government. I think that should be also underscored. There's a very big difference.
All right.
between-
So, but how can we then have plastic rice and scrupulous business people and having this getting into the country? Do we have any grid that this
That
really
is-
passes through?
That is the exact point that Honorable Kipruto Rapiro was
Eh,
making.
then
There are
what-
those- there are the
what-
point, and
what
it's
is-
important-
what is-
it's
what
a
is-
very important point that Kipruto Rapiro was making.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
And
the
you must
question
draw a
is,
distinction, because we were talking about farming. You brought in plastic rice, and I'm saying that if there is plastic rice in this country today, and I'm not saying there isn't, I should be understood very clearly. I'm not saying there isn't. I have no evidence.
Sure.
But the point I'm making is, if indeed there is plastic rice in this country, then there are people that must bear that responsibility.
Agreed.
And these are the relevant institutions like KEFIS, like KBS, and all those others.
the Kenya Anti-Counterfeit Agency.
Anti-counterfeit, all those
Yeah,
ones.
yes.
And somebody must bear this responsibility and be indicted for it. And we must draw a distinction between the national government and institutions, because all of us were there when we created these institutions. I think it's imperative that we draw that distinction. But having said that, we must see some blood. Some people must be prosecuted if indeed we're having this plastic rice in the country.
But it would be very difficult to actually uncouple, those institutions from the government, because essentially they are the government themselves.
No, they're not the
Yeah.
government. If you have read the Constitution properly, you notice that these institutions most of them are independent. Most of them, they do their work. They're expected to do their work. I mean, they are expected to do their work. We have KEFIS. When Honorable Kipruto and I were in the Ministry of Agriculture, when he was my boss and I was his assistant minister, we were going to KEFIS almost every other week to see exactly what they were doing and to have consultations with them about the issues we are discussing now. So the point I'm making is that there are people who are supposed to be doing certain things, and they're supposed to do it. If plastic rice finds its way into a shelf in a supermarket, then somebody must bear that responsibility. There are no two ways about it. Yeah.
Libel, I want to share with you a small film here. You know, I'm actually surprised. I'm actually seriously surprised.
No,
because I'll tell you why.
Yes.
The reason why I'm surprised.
I cannot verify that particular film because it's not admissible on this show.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
And I've seen it, by the way.
I'm surprised. I'll tell you why I'm surprised. This has been there in the public domain for a while now.
Social media.
In social media, everywhere, people are talking to one another. And personally, I can tell you will not see a ton or 2 tons of plastic rice in the market in Kenya today. You will see it, if not hundreds, thousands of tons, which are being sold to unsuspecting Kenyans.
Do the right thing.
Yeah, that's the point. Now, you want me to believe? Do you want us to tell Kenyans that Kenya Bureau of Standards will only hear about plastic rice because we're talking about it, or Farah mentioned it on the national television today? It's been there in the market. It's been there in the social media.
And people are eating it.
And people are eating it.
And no consequences.
Hang on a minute.
No. But you see, the consequence can be long term.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we cannot say that it can be the immediate reaction if at all it's actually there.
It might take 10 years, might take 5 years, we never know. It might take much longer than that. You see, casino, whatever you call it.
Carcinogenic.
Carcinogenic, yes. We'll take these things. So the fact of the matter is that I am willing tomorrow to come to the same show. Some of us can come. I'll bring the stuff here.
Don't bring it here. We can't
Why can't you take it? Why can't you take it to the Kenya Bureau of Standards even today? Do you still have it in the house?
You don't think they know it? You don't think they know it? Look, the problem with my good friend here, Ochoa, he has...
No, let's not talk about problems. The bad.
Let him finish. Let him finish. No, just a moment. Let him finish. We will come to... Okay, yes, let him finish. Just continue.
Look, when you go overboard with all our integrity and the rest of it, and we reduce ourselves to a bit of chronism and parochialism, you know, when we are seriously supposed to be discussing things that are of interest
thank you.
and serious concern to our country, this is a health matter for your information.
Thank you.